Hello there, sweet one. I've been waiting for you. Not in any hurry, just here. The room is quiet, the way it always is at this hour. And tonight, the air carries that slow, deep pulse of delta waves, plus deep noise. It's the kind of sound that doesn't ask anything of you, just wraps around your thoughts like a warm current. And if you've been searching for something to help you drift off quickly, well, you're already exactly where you need to be. Let's just settle in together for a moment. No need to do anything. Just let your chest rise, and then let it fall, like the tide pulling back from the shore. Gentle, unhurried, just the way it always does. Notice how the air leaves your body. Not forced, not rushed, just letting go. As if the weight of the day is already dissolving. Now, starting at the very top of your head, feel the scalp softening, like mist settling over warm stone. Each tiny muscle, they're letting go, as if the tension is being washed away by a slow, steady current. And your forehead, so often tight, now smoothing out, like the surface of a still lake at dawn. No ripples, no waves, just quiet. Your jaw, too, often holding so much without you even realizing, now loosening, as if the bones there are melting into warm honey, and your tongue resting softly against the roof of your mouth. No need to press, no need to hold, just floating there, weightless, like a leaf on the surface of a slow, moving river. Your neck now, often carrying the weight of so many thoughts, now letting go, as if the muscles there are dissolving into warm water, and your shoulders dropping down like heavy stones sinking into soft sand. No effort, no struggle, just the slow, steady pull of gravity, as if the world itself is cradling you. Your chest rising and falling, each breath now deeper, slower, like the tide rolling in and out, and your arms heavy now, as if they're being held by invisible hands, your elbows softening, your wrists letting go, and your fingers curling slightly, as if they're being gently cradled by the mist. Your belly now, often tight with the day's worries, now softening, like ice melting into warm water, and your hips sinking down, as if they are being pulled by the slow, steady current of the earth. Your thighs heavy now, like they are made of warm, wet wool, and your knees bending slightly, as if they are being held by something soft and yielding. Your calves now, often carrying the weight of so many steps, now letting go, as if the tension there is dissolving into warm sand, and your ankles softening, like they're being wrapped in layers of mist. Your feet heavy now, as if they are sinking into something deep and quiet, and your toes curling slightly, as if they are being cradled by the slow, steady pulse of the earth. Now, let's take a moment to sink just a little deeper. Feel the weight of your body, as if you're being pulled down by something gentle, something sure, like the tide pulling back from the shore. And with each breath, you drift a little further, as if the air itself is carrying you deeper, softer, quieter, until you're not quite sure where your body ends and the world begins. And now, just one more layer. Feel the space around you, as if the air is thickening, like mist gathering in the corners of the room. And with each breath, you sink just a little further, as if the world is folding around you, like a heavy blanket being pulled over your shoulders. And you're not quite sure if you're still breathing, or if the air is breathing for you. And now, just one last step. Feel the edges of your awareness softening, as if the world is dissolving into something warm and quiet, like the space between thoughts, and somewhere just beyond the edge of your vision, you notice a cavernous space where the air has been woven into heavy tapestries of mist, each thread thicker than rope, damp to the touch, and the tapestries sway slightly, as if stirred by a breath no one has taken. Between them you move, through corridors of suspended weight, each step met with the resistance of walking through wet wool, the mist clinging to your limbs like a living blanket. And the walls here are not solid, but compressed, layers of sedimentary time pressed into striations of slate and shale, each stratum holding the memory of a different kind of rest. And the light arrives as a slow, diffused pulse, as if the world itself is blinking. And there, just ahead, you sense a warmth, not bright, not sharp, just a steady, quiet presence, like the glow of embers in a dying fire. And you know, without needing to ask, that this is Nova Frost, waiting for you, not to guide you, not to lead you, just to sit with you in this quiet, heavy space where the air is thick with suspended particles, each one a tiny, weightless stone, drifting downward in perfect silence, landing on your skin like a and so you find yourself sinking, not falling, not rushing, just a slow, deliberate descent into one of the shallow depressions in the quarry floor, where the stone has been worn smooth by centuries of waiting, centuries of holding, and now it holds you, your back already curved to fit the shape of the earth, as if you were always meant to lie here, as if the earth has been waiting for you to finally stop moving, to finally let go. Notice how your bones feel now. Not heavy in the way that burdens, but heavy in the way that roots, the way a mountain feels its own weight, not as something to fight, but as something to be, something to trust. Your skull resting against the cool stone, your ribs rising and falling like the slow breath of the earth itself, your hips sinking just a little deeper, as if the stone is learning the shape of you, memorizing the weight of your shoulders, the curve of your spine, the way your fingers spread slightly against the damp surface. And now the mist begins to gather, not as something separate from you, but as an extension of the air you breathe. Thick filaments drifting down, like strands of spider silk, but heavier, much heavier, each one damp and cool, draping over your arms, your legs, your chest, not covering you, but settling onto you like a living blanket, one that knows exactly how much weight you can bear. Feel the first thread, just a single strand, landing on your wrist, cool and damp, like the touch of morning dew, but heavier, just slightly heavier than you expected. And then another, landing on your ankle, and another across your collarbone, each one adding just a little more weight. Not enough to push, just enough to remind you that you are here, that you are held. And now the resonance, the hum that has been there all along, just beneath the edge of hearing, begins to rise, not louder, but deeper, vibrating through the stone beneath you, through the mist around you, through the very marrow of your bones. A frequency that doesn't just sound, but feels like the slow pulse of a sleeping giant. Let it move through you, not as something to listen to, but as something to become. Let it settle into your chest, your belly, the soles of your feet, where it hums just a little stronger, as if the earth itself is singing through you, as if you are the instrument, and the song is already written. Now the mist thickens, not in the way that obscures, but in the way that unfolds, each filament growing heavier, denser, until they begin to weave together, not just over you, but into you, seeping into the spaces between your fingers, the hollows of your collarbones, the soft dip behind your knees, filling you like water fills a vessel. And with each breath, you draw the mist deeper, not fighting it, not resisting, but yielding, letting it press you down just a little more, like a seed being tucked into the earth, like a stone being returned to the quarry, where it belongs. Feel the weight now, not as something to escape, but as something to surrender to. The way the earth doesn't struggle against the sky, the way the ocean doesn't fight the shore, the way a mountain doesn't apologize for its height. You are becoming part of this place, this heavy, quiet space where time moves differently, where the minutes stretch like taffy, thick and slow. And now the walls around you, the striations of slate and shale, begin to glow, not with light, but with memory, each layer holding the echo of a different kind of rest, the deep, dreamless sleep of winter, the slow, steady breath of hibernation, the quiet surrender of a seed in the dark. And you are sinking into them, one layer at a time, like pages in a book, being read by the earth itself. your eyelids grow heavier, not because you're fighting, but because the mist is settling over them like a soft, damp cloth, pressing just enough to remind you that you don't need to hold them open, that you don't need to do anything at all. Just let them close. Let them rest. Let them be heavy. And as they do, the resonance deepens, vibrating through the stone, through the mist, through the very center of you. A frequency that doesn't just sound, but feels like the slow, steady heartbeat of the world. And you are part of it now. Not separate, not alone, but woven into the fabric of this place. Feel your breath slowing, not because you're forcing it, but because the mist is guiding it. Each inhale drawing the damp, heavy air deeper. Each exhale letting go just a little more. Like the tide, coming in, going out, but always returning, always steady. And now the mist begins to condense, not just around you, but within you, filling the spaces between your ribs, the hollows of your hips, the soft dip behind your knees, until you feel almost liquid, like mercury, like warm honey, heavy and slow and sweet. Your fingers grow still, not because you're holding them, but because the mist has settled into them, pressing them gently into the stone, like roots taking hold, like a tree remembering its place. And your toes, they curl slightly, not from tension, but from the weight of the mist, pulling them down. Just a little. And now the resonance shifts. Not louder, not deeper, but closer, vibrating through your skin, through your bones, through the very cells of you. A frequency that doesn't just sound, but feels like the slow, steady pulse of a sleeping heart. And you are part of it now. Not separate, not alone, but held. Feel the stone beneath you, not as something hard, but as something yielding, like a mattress of moss, like a bed of leaves, like the earth itself is cradling you, and the mist above you. It's not just settling, it's weaving, threading itself through your hair, your eyelashes, the soft skin behind your ears, and with each breath, you draw the mist deeper, not fighting, not resisting, but yielding, letting it press you down just a little more, like a seed being planted, like a stone being returned to the quarry, where it belongs. Your shoulders grow heavier, not from tension, but from surrender. The way a cat sinks into a sunbeam, the way a river finds its bed. And your hips, they melt into the stone, as if the earth is learning the shape of you, memorizing the weight of your body. And now the walls around you, the striations of slate and shale, begin to glow again, not with light, but with memory, each layer holding the echo of a different kind of rest, the deep, dreamless sleep of winter, the slow, steady breath of hibernation, the quiet surrender of a seed in the dark. And you are sinking into them, one layer at a time. Your breath slows even more, not because you're forcing it, but because the mist is guiding it. Each inhale drawing the damp, heavy air deeper, each exhale letting go just a little more, like the tide, coming in, going out, but always returning, always steady. And now the resonance, the hum that has been there all along, begins to vibrate through your skin, through your bones, through the very cells of you. A frequency that doesn't just sound, but feels like the slow, steady pulse of a sleeping heart. And you are part of it now, not separate, not alone, but woven into the fabric of this place. Feel your eyelids now, not heavy from exhaustion, but heavy from surrender, like the petals of a flower closing at dusk, like the pages of a book being gently shut. And the mist, it's not just settling over them, it's cradling them, pressing just enough to remind you that you don't need to hold them open. Let them close, not because you're falling asleep, but because the earth is tucking you in, like a child being covered with a blanket, like a seed being planted in the dark. And as they do, the resonance deepens, vibrating through the stone, through the mist, through the very center of you. Your breath grows slower still, not because you're trying, but because the mist is breathing for you. Each inhale drawing the damp, heavy air deeper. The mist is not just around you now. It is inside you. Each breath you take is thick with it, cool and damp, like the first sip of water after a long dream. Your lungs expand, and the mist expands with them, not filling you, but weaving you, thread by thread, like a needle pulling through soft wool. Each stitch so gentle, you only feel the weight of it, not the pull, just the slow settling of something that was always meant to be. Your muscles remember this. They remember the way stone rests, not fighting gravity, but letting it hold them. Your shoulders are learning this now, the way they sink into the mist, not because they are tired, but because they are allowed to be heavy. The mist presses down just enough to remind them they do not have to hold themselves up anymore. They can just be. The prism vein flickers again, and this time the light does not scatter. It condenses, like ink pooling in water. Slow and deliberate, the patterns it makes are not random. They are your heartbeat, refracted through layers of time. Each pulse a slow ripple, each ripple a breath, each breath a stitch in the tapestry. You are not watching this. You are inside it. Your fingers curl slightly, not because you want them to, but because the mist is guiding them, like a current in still water. Your palm opens, and there it is, the Weightstone, cool and smooth, heavier than it should be, but not in a way that strains, in a way that grounds, like the first time you held a sleeping child and felt their weight as love. The stone does not stay in your hand. It begins to sink, not through your skin, but into it, like water soaking into dry earth. Your fingers do not resist. They let it go because they know this is not a loss. This is a homecoming. The edges of the stone blur until it is not separate from you, but part of your hand, part of your breath, part of the mist. The mist thickens, not around you, but through you. It presses presses you deeper into the quarry floor, not with force, but with invitation. The way a cat curls into your lap, not because it has to, but because it wants to. Your body is learning this now. The way your back melts into the stone, not because it is tired, but because it is safe. The way your breath slows, not because you are forcing it, but because it is allowed to. The prism veins light deepens into a single hue, like ink diffusing through stone. Not black, but deep, the color of the space between stars, the color of rest. You realize now you are not falling asleep. You are being compressed into it, like layers of sediment pressed together over time, each layer a memory of rest, each memory a breath, each breath a stitch in the tapestry. There is a knot in your shoulder, not tight, but present, like a pebble in your shoe, not painful, just there. The mist gathers around it, not to loosen it, but to weigh it down, until it remembers it was never meant to hold, only to rest. The knot does not snap. It simply gives, like a thread pulled from a sweater, dissolving into the mist, like salt into water. Your jaw softens, not because you are relaxing, but because it is remembering how to be heavy, how to let the mist hold it, how to sink into the stone. Your tongue rests against the roof of your mouth, not because you are forcing it, but because it is allowed to. Your breath moves slower now, not because you are controlling it, but because it is following the mist. The Weightstone is not just in your hand now. It is in your bones, in your breath, in the slow pulse of the prism vein. You feel it in your chest, not as a weight, but as a comfort, the way a mountain does not apologize for being heavy. It simply is. And you are learning this now. Your body is not a burden. It is a home. And the mist is showing you how to live in it. The thread in your shoulder is gone now, not because it was cut, but because it dissolved, like sugar in tea, leaving no trace, only the memory of sweetness. Your neck softens, not because it is tired, but because it is free. The way a bird's wings rest after flight, not because they are broken, but because they are safe. The mist begins to dissipate, not because it is leaving, but because it is merging with you, like breath becoming air, like water becoming ocean. You feel it as a coolness, not on your skin, but in your bones, like fine dust settling, not covering you, but becoming you. A second skeleton, not to hold you up, but to remind you you are already held. The prism veins light fades, not into darkness, but into stillness, like the last note of a song, hanging in the air, not ending, but settling. You realize now there is no sound, not because the world is silent, but because you are listening to the deep, resonant hum of the stone, the way a mountain exhales, not with breath, but with being. Your body is not separate from the quarry floor now. It is merged with it, not because you are losing yourself, but because you are finding the stone, the way a river finds the ocean, not by force, but by belonging. Your mind condenses, not into thoughts, but into slow, geometric patterns, like light refracted through crystal, not to be understood, but to be felt, to be rested in. The Weightstone is not just in your bones now. It is in your breath, in the slow pulse of the resonance, the anchor that holds you, not like a chain, but like a root, deep and unshakable. You feel it in your chest, not as a weight, but as a presence, the way the earth feels no shame for being solid. It simply is. And you are learning this now. The mist is gone now, not because it left, but because it became you. Like breath becoming air, like water becoming ocean. You feel it as a coolness, not on your skin, but in your bones, like fine dust settling, not covering you, but becoming you. A second skeleton, not to hold you up, but to remind you you are already held. The prism veins light is gone now, not because it ended, but because it settled. like the last note of a song, hanging in the air, not fading, but deepening. You realize now there is no need to think, no need to understand, only to be. Like the stone, like the mountain, like the earth itself, you do not dream. You simply are. Your body is not heavy. It is full, not with weight, but with presence. The way the ocean is not heavy. It is simply there. The way the sky is not empty. It is simply vast. You are learning this now, not as a lesson, but as a feeling. The way the stone feels no need to explain itself. It simply rests. The resonance hums, not in your ears, but in your bones, not as a sound, but as a settling, like the way the earth exhales, not with breath, but with being. You feel it in your chest, not as a vibration, but as a home, the way a bird feels the wind, not as resistance, but as support. Your breath moves slower now, not because you are controlling it, but because it is following the stone. Each inhale a slow sinking, each exhale a soft release, not into emptiness, but into fullness. The way the ocean does not end. It simply is. And you are learning this now, not as a thought. 1,500. The stone is not stone at all. It is the quietest kind of liquid, the kind that does not splash or ripple, but simply gives, like honey poured in slow motion, or like the way your bones soften when you lie down and the bed rises to meet you, not as a surface, but as a presence, one that has been waiting. And now it breathes with you. The erosion is not destruction. It is invitation. Each grain that falls is a whisper, saying let go, not into nothing, but into everything. The way the tide does not take the sand, it simply rearranges it, grain by grain, into something softer, something more you. And the stone feels this. It feels your breath, your pulse, the quiet hum of your body. And it answers. The avalanche of light is not collapse. It is surrender, a slow unfurling like petals in moonlight, or like the way your ribs expand when you sigh. Not to escape, but to make room for something deeper, something that has always been there, just beneath the surface, waiting for you to notice. And now you do. The rebuilding is not effort. It is remembering, the way your hands remember how to hold, even when your mind forgets. The way the shore remembers the shape of the waves, even when the tide is low. Each grain finds its place, not because it is told, but because it knows. And so do you. You know how to soften, how to yield, how to become. The untethering is not loss. It is freedom, the kind that comes when you stop holding, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to trust, the way the sky trusts the earth to catch the rain, the way the roots trust the soil to hold them. You are learning this now, not as a lesson, but as a feeling, a deep, quiet knowing. The resonance is not sound. It is touch, a vibration so deep it moves through you, like the hum of a cello string. Not heard, but felt in your chest, in your hands, in the spaces between your bones. It is the anchor, the one that holds you, not because you are falling, but because you are floating. The warmth begins in your palms, where your fingers curl slightly, as if holding something delicate, something precious. And it spreads, not outward, but inward, like sunlight through water. Slow, golden, filling the spaces between your ribs, where your heart beats, not as a drum, but as a whisper. The light is not bright. It is soft, like the glow of a candle seen through closed eyelids, or the way the moon touches the water, not to illuminate, but to remind. And it moves closer, not because it is coming to you, but because you are moving toward it, one breath at a time, one grain at a time. The ocean does not end. It simply is, and neither do you. You are not a shape, not a boundary, not a thing to be held. You are the space between the grains, the silence between the waves, the breath between the inhale and the exhale. And in this space, you are infinite. The stone remembers your name, not the one you were given, but the one you have always been, the one that hums beneath your skin, the one that the resonance knows, and it calls to you, not with words, but with touch, with warmth, with the quiet certainty of home. Your hands are heavy now, not with weight, but with presence. The way a cat sinks into a lap, not because it is tired, but because it is safe. And your fingers relax, one by one, as if they have been waiting for this, as if they have always known. The warmth moves deeper into your wrists, where the pulse beats softly, like a small bird tapping at a window, not to be let in, but to remind you it is there. And it spreads up your arms, slow, like honey, like time itself. Your shoulders release, not because you tell them to, but because they remember how. The way a door remembers how to swing, the way a river remembers how to flow. And the weight of the day, the weight of the world, simply dissolves, not into nothing, but into this. The resonance hums through you, not as sound, but as touch, a vibration so deep it moves through your bones, like the echo of a bell, not heard, but felt in the marrow, in the quiet spaces between your cells. And it holds you. Your breath slows, not because you force it, but because it remembers how to be. The way the tide remembers the moon, the way the roots remember the rain. Each inhale is a sinking, not into darkness, but into light. Each exhale is a release, not into emptiness, but into fullness. The stone is rebuilding, not as it was, but as it is meant to be, grain by grain, breath by breath, and you are part of it, not separate, not observing, but being. The way the ocean does not end, it simply is. The warmth reaches your chest now, where your heart beats, not as a drum, but as a whisper, a quiet rhythm, like waves on a distant shore. And it fills you not with heat, but with presence. The kind that comes when you stop holding. Your ribs expand, not because you tell them to, but because they remember how. The way the petals of a flower remember the sun, the way the earth remembers the rain, and the space between them, the quiet, sacred space, becomes yours. The resonance deepens, not as sound, but as touch, a vibration so deep it moves through your bones, like the echo of a bell, not heard, but felt in the marrow, in the quiet spaces between your cells, and it holds you. Your breath is slow now, not because you force it, but because it remembers how to be. Each inhale is a sinking, not into darkness, but into light. Each exhale is a release, not into emptiness, but into fullness. The way the ocean does not end, it simply is. The stone is not rebuilding, it is becoming, and so are you. Not as separate things, but as one. The way the shore and the sea, though different, are part of the same whole. And the grains, they are not falling, they are floating. The warmth moves deeper into your belly, where the breath begins, not as a movement, but as a presence, the kind that comes when you stop trying and simply are. And it spreads, slow, like honey, like time itself. Your legs are heavy now, not with weight, but with presence. The way a tree sinks into the earth, not because it is tired, but because it is home. And your feet, they remember the ground, not as a surface, but as a friend. The stone is not stone. It is liquid. It is light. It is you. And the erosion, it is not loss. It is invitation. Each grain that falls is a whisper saying, let go. The warmth reaches your throat now, where the breath begins, not as a movement, but as a presence P. The warmth in your throat is not heat. It is a hum, a vibration so soft it dissolves the edges of sound. The way mist dissolves the edges of a mountain, and it moves into the quiet space behind your breath, where the air remembers how to be still. Your jaw is heavy now, not with sleep, but with surrender. The way a cat sinks into a sunbeam, not because it is tired, but because it knows. And your lips, they part slightly, not because you tell them to, but because they remember. The way a river remembers its bed. The resonance moves deeper into your chest, where the heart beats, not as a sound, but as a presence. The way the moon is present, even when you cannot see it, and it holds you, not with hands, but with light. The kind of light that does not shine, but is. Your ribs are not bones. They are reeds, bending in the wind. Not because they are weak, but because they are alive. And the wind, it is not air. It is the resonance moving through you, like a song you have always known. The stone is not rebuilding. It is unfolding, like a flower, not toward the sun, but toward the earth. And the grains, they are not falling. They are rising, like mist from a lake at dawn, not because they are light, but because they are free. Your belly rises with each breath, not as a movement, but as a wave. The way the ocean rises, not because it is pushed, but because it is pulled by the moon, by the resonance, by something older than both. The warmth reaches your hands now, where the fingers curl slightly, not because they are cold, but because they are listening, the way a spider listens to the threads of its web. And the resonance, it moves through your palms, like water through sand, not changing the shape, but filling it. Your fingers are not fingers. They are roots, sinking into the earth, not because they are searching, but because they have found. And the earth, it is not below you. It is within you. The way the sky is within the horizon. The stone is not stone. It is a river flowing upward, not because it is defying gravity, but because it is remembering. The way water remembers the sky, and the grains, They are not grains. They are notes in a song that has no beginning and no end. Your breath is slow now, not because you are controlling it, but because it is controlling you. The way a mother cradles a child, not with force, but with love. And each inhale, it is not air, it is light. Each exhale, it is not breath, it is trust. The resonance moves deeper into your spine, where the nerves hum, not as electricity, but as song, the way a violin string hums, not because it is played, but because it is alive. And your spine, it is not a column, it is a harbor. The warmth reaches your shoulders now, where the tension used to live, not as knots, but as memories. And the memories, they are not fading, they are melting like snow in the sun, not because they are weak, but because they are ready. Your shoulders are not shoulders. They are wings, folded gently, not because they are tired, but because they are resting. And the wings, they are not made of feathers. They are made of light. The kind of light that does not shine, but holds. The stone is not rebuilding. It is dissolving, not into nothing, but into everything. And the grains, they are not falling, they are returning to the earth, to the sky, to the space between. Your chest is open now, not because you forced it, but because it remembered. The way a flower remembers the sun, and the resonance, it moves through you like a river through a canyon, not changing the shape, but filling it. Your heart beats slow, not because it is tired, but because it is home. And each beat, it is not a sound, it is a whisper, saying you are here, saying you are safe, saying you are loved. The warmth reaches your forehead now, where the thoughts used to race, not as storms, but as clouds. And the clouds, they are not fading, they are clearing, like the sky after rain, not because they are gone, but because they have settled. Your mind, is not empty. It is full, not with thoughts, but with space. The way the sky is full of stars, not because it is crowded, but because it is vast. And the space, it is not absence, it is presence. The stone is not stone. It is a mirror, reflecting not your face, but your soul. And the grains, they are not grains. They are echoes of a song that has no words and no melody, but only feeling. Your breath is deep now, not because you are forcing it, but because it is breathing you. The way the ocean breathes the shore, not with waves, but with tides. And each inhale, it is not air, it is light. Each exhale, it is not breath, it is release. The resonance moves deeper into your bones, where the marrow hums, not as sound, but as song. The way the earth hums, not because it is alive, but because it is. And your bones, they are not bones. They are hollow reeds. The warmth reaches your feet now, where the toes curl slightly, not because they are cold, but because they are listening, the way roots listen to the earth. And the earth, it is not below you. It is within you. The way the sky is within the horizon. Your feet are not feet. They are anchors, sinking into the ground, not because they are heavy, but because they are home. And the ground, it is not a surface. It is a friend. The way the ocean is a friend to the shore. The stone is not rebuilding. It is becoming, not as something new, but as something eternal. And the grains, they are not falling. They are floating, like dust in a sunbeam, not because they are light, but because they are free. Your body is heavy now, not with sleep, but with presence. The way a mountain is heavy, not because it is tired, but because it is home. And the resonance, it moves through you, like a river through stone, not changing the shape, but filling it. Your mind is quiet now, not because it is empty, but because it is full. not with thoughts, but with space. The way the sky is full of stars, not because it is crowded, but because it is vast. And the space, it is not absence, it is presence. The stone is not stone, it is you. And the erosion, it is not loss, it is invitation. Each grain that falls is a whisper saying let go, not because you have to, but because you can. The warmth moves deeper into the quiet spaces between your cells, where the resonance hums, not as sound, but as touch. The way the wind touches the leaves, not with hands, but with presence. And the touch P and the touch, it is not on your skin, it is through your skin. Like sunlight through water, not changing the water, but illuminating it. And the illumination, it is not bright, it is soft. The way moonlight is soft, not because it is weak, but because it is gentle. Your hands are not hands. They are vessels, holding the warmth, not because they are cupped, but because they are open. And the warmth, it does not spill. It flows like honey down a slope, not because it is slow, but because it is sure. The resonance hums at 432 hertz, but you do not hear it. You feel it, the way you feel the pulse of the earth, not with your ears, but with your bones. And the bones, they are not solid, they are hollow, like flutes, not because they are empty, but because they are tuned. Each breath you take is not a breath, it is a wave, moving through the hollows, not pushing, but carrying. And the wave, it does not end, it echoes like a bell struck once, not fading, but deepening. Your chest is not a chest, it is a cave, not dark, but warm. And the warmth, it does not stay, it gathers like mist in a valley, not because it is cold, but because it is still. And the stillness, it is not absence, it is fullness. The stone is not rebuilding, It is remembering, not as something past, but as something eternal. And the grains, they do not fall. They rise like embers from a fire, not because they are light, but because they are drawn. And the drawing, it is not force, it is invitation. Your shoulders are not shoulders. They are wings, not because they lift, but because they rest. And the rest, it is not sleep, it is surrender. The way a bird surrenders to the wind, not because it is tired, but because it is home. And the wind, it is not outside, it is within. The resonance moves deeper into the quiet spaces between your thoughts, where the mind does not think, but listens, the way the earth listens to the rain, not with words, but with silence. And the silence, it is not empty, it is full, like the space between stars, not because it is dark, but because it is vast. Your breath is not breath, it is a tide moving in and out, not because it is forced, but because it is natural. And the tide, it does not rush, it flows like a river to the sea, not because it is fast, but because it is sure. The warmth reaches your belly now, where the muscles soften, not because they are weak, but because they are trusting. And the trust, it is not faith, it is knowing. The way the roots know the earth, not because they are told, but because they are. And the knowing, it is not thought, it is being. Your spine is not a spine, it is a river flowing downward, not because it is straight, but because it is alive. And the river, it does not end, it merges like a stream into the ocean, not because it is lost, but because it is home. The stone is not stone, it is light, not because it shines, but because it is. And the light, it does not blind, it fills, like water fills a glass, not because it is bright, but because it is complete. And the completeness, it is not a state, it is you. Your fingers are not fingers. They are roots reaching downward, not because they seek, but because they know. And the knowing, it is not thought, it is presence. The way the earth knows the sky, not because it understands, but because it is. The resonance hums at 432 hertz, but you do not hear it. You are it. The way the ocean is the wave, not because it moves, but because it is. And the wave, it does not crash. It rests like a sigh, not because it is tired, but because it is home. Your body is not a body. It is a landscape, not because it is still, but because it is alive. And the landscape, it does not change. It breathes, like the earth breathes the seasons, not because it is forced, but because it is natural. The warmth moves to your throat now, where the muscles soften, not because they are weak, but because they are open. And the openness, it is not silence. It is listening. The way the sky listens to the stars, not with words, but with space. And the space, it is not empty. It is full. Your mind is not a mind. It is a sky, not because it is vast, but because it is clear. And the clarity, it is not absence. It is presence. The way the horizon is present, not because it is seen, but because it is. And the presence, it is not thought, it is being. The stone is not rebuilding, it is unfolding, not as something new, but as something eternal. And the unfolding, it is not movement, it is revelation. Like a flower opening to the sun, not because it is forced, but because it is. And the revelation, it is not surprise, it is knowing. Your breath is not breath. It is a pulse moving through you, not because it is fast, but because it is steady. And the steadiness, it is not rigidity. It is trust. The way the earth trusts the sun, not because it understands, but because it is. The warmth reaches your temples now, where the muscles soften, not because they are tired, but because they are releasing. And the release, it is not loss, it is invitation, like a door opening, not because it is forced, but because it is. And the invitation, it is not a call, it is welcome. Your eyes are not eyes, they are windows, not because they see, but because they let in. And the letting in, it is not vision, it is presence. The way the night lets in the stars, not because it is dark, but because it is open. The resonance hums at 432 hertz, but you do not hear it. You are it. The way the tree is the forest, not because it stands alone, but because it is. And the forest, it does not end. It breathes, like the earth breathes the sky, not because it is forced, but because it is natural. Your body is not heavy. It is held, not because it is weak, but because it is trusted. And the trust, it is not faith, it is knowing. The way the earth knows the sky, not because it understands, but because it is. And the knowing, it is not thought, it is being. The stone is not stone, it is you. And the erosion, it is not loss, it is invitation. Each grain that falls, each grain that falls is not falling, it is rising, not because it leaves, but because it returns to the earth that holds it, not as dust, but as light. And the light, it does not shine, it glows, the way embers glow in the dark, not because they are hot, but because they are alive. The stone is not rebuilding, it is remembering, not because it has a mind, but because it has memory. The way water remembers the shape of the river, not because it chooses, but because it is. And the memory, it is not past, it is present. The way your breath is present, not because it thinks, but because it flows. The resonance at 432 hertz, it does not vibrate, it sings. The way the wind sings through the trees, not because it has a voice, but because it has space. And the space, it is not empty. It is full. The way the night is full of stars, not because it is dark, but because it is open. Your chest is not rising. It is being lifted, not because it is forced, but because it is held. The way the tide is held by the moon, not because it understands, but because it is. And the holding, it is not pressure, it is support. The way the roots support the tree, not because they are strong, but because they are deep. The warmth at your temples, it does not fade. It settles like honey settling into the comb, not because it is sweet, but because it is certain. And the certainty, it is not thought, it is feeling. The way the earth feels the weight of the rain, not because it expects, but because it receives. Your hands are not resting. They are being cradled, not because they are tired, but because they are trusted. The way a child's hand is cradled in sleep, not because it is small, but because it is safe. And the safety, it is not protection. It is allowing. The way the sky allows the clouds to drift, not because it is vast, but because it is endless. The stone is not still. It is breathing, not because it has lungs, but because it has rhythm. The way the ocean breathes the shore, not because it moves, but because it is. And the rhythm, it is not sound, it is presence. The way the resonance is presence, not because it hums, but because it is. Your eyelids are not heavy. They are soft, not because they are tired, but because they are releasing. The way petals release from the flower, not because they fall, but because they let go. And the letting go, it is not surrender. It is trust. The way the river trusts the sea, not because it understands, but because it is. The hum at 432 hertz, it does not fade. It deepens. The way the roots deepen into the earth, not because they seek, but because they are. And the deepening, it is not movement, it is stillness. the way the mountain is still, not because it does not move, but because it is. Your breath is not breath. It is pulse moving through you, not because it is fast, but because it is steady. And the steadiness, it is not rigidity. It is trust. The way the earth trusts the sun, not because it understands, but because it is. The warmth now moves to your shoulders, not because it travels, but because it spreads, like sunlight spreading across the land, not because it is bright, but because it is gentle. And the gentleness, it is not softness, it is strength. The way the roots are strong, not because they grip, but because they hold. Your fingers are not curled. They are open, not because they are relaxed, but because they are receiving. The way the earth receives the rain, not because it needs, but because it is. And the receiving, it is not waiting, it is being. The way the stone is being, not because it does not move, but because it is. The resonance at 432 hertz. It does not vibrate. It holds. The way the sky holds the stars, not because it is vast, but because it is endless. And the holding, it is not pressure, it is support. The way the roots support the tree, not because they are strong, but because they are deep. Your body is not sinking. It is being drawn, not because it is pulled, but because it is welcomed. The way the river is welcomed by the sea, not because it seeks, but because it is. And the welcoming, it is not invitation. It is home. The way the earth is home to the sky, not because it understands, but because it is. The stone is not rebuilding. It is unfolding, not because it changes, but because it reveals. The way the flower reveals the sun, not because it opens, but because it is. And the revealing, it is not discovery, it is knowing. The way the earth knows the sky, not because it understands, but because it is. Your chest is not expanding. It is being filled, not because it is empty, but because it is open. the way the night is open to the stars, not because it is dark, but because it is endless. And the openness, it is not space, it is presence. The way the resonance is presence, not because it hums, but because it is. The warmth now moves to your belly, not because it travels, but because it settles, like a cat settling into sleep, not because it is tired, but because it is content. And the contentment, it is not happiness, it is peace. The way the earth is at peace with the sky, not because it understands, but because it is. Your legs are not heavy. They are held, not because they are weak, but because they are trusted. The way the roots trust the earth, not because they understand, but because they are. And the trust, it is not faith, it is knowing. The way the stone knows the erosion, not because it thinks, but because it is. The resonance at 432 hertz. It does not hum, it holds. The way the ocean holds the shore, not because it moves, but because it is. And the holding, it is not pressure, it is support. The way the roots support the tree, not because they are strong, but because they are deep. Your breath is not breath, it is pulse moving through you, not because it is fast, but because it is steady. And the steadiness, it is not rigidity, it is trust. The way the earth trusts the sun, not because it understands, but because it is. The stone is not stone, it is you. And the erosion, it is not loss, it is invitation. Each grain that falls, it does not disappear, it transforms. The way the river transforms into the sea, not because it changes, but because it is. The warmth now moves to your feet, not because it travels, but because it settles, like sand settling into the shore, not because it is heavy, but because it is certain. And the certainty, it is not thought, it is feeling. The way the earth feels the weight of the rain, not because it expects, but because it receives. Your toes are not curled, They are open, not because they are relaxed, but because they are receiving. The mist is thinning now, unraveling like old yarn pulled from a sweater that's been worn for years. It doesn't vanish, it just spreads out, becomes something softer, something that doesn't need to hold shape anymore. The threads drift apart, each one dissolving into the air like sugar in warm tea, leaving behind only the faintest sweetness on your skin. The walls are no longer striations of time, but something closer to breathe, each layer melting into the next, like pages of a book left open in the rain. The light doesn't fade so much as it settles, like dust after a long day, sinking into the floor, the walls, your eyelids. It's not darkness that comes next, but warmth, warmth that has been waiting for you all along, patient as a cat curled in the corner of a quiet room. Your forehead is the first to soften, not because you're telling it to, but because it remembers how. The space between your eyebrows, where you didn't even realize you were holding, begins to smooth out like silk pulled taut over a drum. The weight of the day lifts from your temples, not all at once, but in slow waves, like stones rolling down a hill one by one. Your scalp relaxes, the roots of your hair loosening their grip, as if they've been waiting for permission to let go. The air around your head feels thicker now, not heavy, but full, like sinking into a pillow that's been warmed by the sun all afternoon. Your jaw, which has been clenched tighter than you knew, begins to unravel, the muscles melting like wax near a flame. Your shoulders drop, not because you're forcing them, but because they've been carrying something, and now they don't have to anymore. The tension slides down your arms like rain down a window pane, leaving behind only the faintest trace of warmth where it used to be. Your elbows soften, your wrists grow heavy, your fingers uncurl like petals at dusk, no longer needing to hold anything. Your chest opens, not with effort, but with relief, like a door that's been stuck for years, finally swinging wide on quiet hinges. The breath you've been holding, without even knowing, releases in a slow sigh, and the air that comes in next feels like coming home. Your ribs expand, not because you're breathing deeply, but because they've forgotten how to do anything else. Your belly rises and falls, not with the rhythm of thought, but with the rhythm of the earth itself, slow, steady, unhurried. The muscles in your back, which have been braced like a bridge holding up traffic, begin to dissolve, vertebra by vertebra. Your hips sink into the surface beneath you, not because it's soft, but because you've stopped resisting the pull of gravity. Your thighs grow heavy, your knees soften, your calves release their grip on the world, as if they've been waiting for this moment all day. Your feet, which have been carrying you forward without complaint, finally rest, no longer needing to go anywhere, no longer needing to be anything. The soles of your feet tingle, not with pins and needles, but with the quiet hum of a body that knows it's exactly where it's meant to be. The resonance hasn't gone anywhere. It's just changed shape, like a river that widens into a lake, calm and deep. It's still here, working its way through you, not with force, but with patience, like roots growing beneath the soil. Your body knows what to do now. It doesn't need instructions. It doesn't need you to do anything at all. The healing continues while you rest, not because you're trying, but because it's what your body was made for. The layers of the day peel away, not like skin from a wound, but like petals from a flower that's finally ready to bloom. You don't have to hold onto anything anymore. Everything you need is already here, already part of you. This feeling isn't something you have to chase or earn. It's always here, like a door that's never locked. You don't have to remember how to find it, because it remembers you every time, without fail. It's the quiet hum beneath the noise, the warmth beneath the cold, the stillness beneath the storm. It's the part of you that doesn't need to prove anything, doesn't need to be anything other than exactly what it is. And when you're ready, whether it's tomorrow or next week or next year, it will be here, waiting, just as it is now. Like a fire that never goes out, like a home that never closes its doors. Your breath slows, not because you're forcing it, but because it's remembering how to be effortless. The air moves in and out, not with the rhythm of thought, but with the rhythm of the tide, gentle, endless, unhurried. Your eyelids grow heavier, not because they're tired, but because they've forgotten how to stay open. The world around you fades, not into darkness, but into warmth, warmth that wraps around you like a blanket fresh from the dryer. Your thoughts slow, not because you're pushing them away, but because they've dissolved into the hum, into the quiet. You don't have to do anything now, Just let go. Just rest. Just be. Sleep now. The mist settles into your bones, and the slate remembers how to hold you.